We all know that AI is posed to change the world. There are big opportunities and big challenges. For Ottawa's tech sector, how is it adopting? Are local companies moving fast enough to keep pace in the AI race? Well, I've got 800 reasons to be optimistic. Learn more in this episode of Techopia Live. Hello, I'm Michael Curran from the Ottawa Business Journal. Welcome to Techopia Live. This is a podcast from OBJ that features interviews with executives from next-gen technology companies, as well as leaders from Ottawa's tech ecosystem. Our mission is to share knowledge and create a deeper level of understanding about what's happening in the local tech ecosystem, to explore issues that are common to local tech companies, and to help level up Ottawa's tech sector. Thank you for tuning in. If you're enjoying the podcast, please share it with a friend and help expand our Techopia community. Okay, let's talk about today's show. It's going to be a great one. Very excited. As everybody knows all too well, AI is here and poised to change the world. There's no doubt that AI promises unlimited potential. Here at Techopia, we're tempted to ask, how is Ottawa's tech sector poised to embrace this world-changing tech? Well, we know some companies in Ottawa are making progress. A few that might come to mind are MindBridge and Raven AI, New Energy AI, Blue Wave AI. I think we'll be speaking with them in 2025. But did you know there is a grassroots AI movement in Ottawa that is garnering attention around the world? The group is called AI Tinkerers Ottawa. It's a volunteer group that's helping keep Ottawa in the AI game. And one of its co-founders, is our guest today. Please welcome Nghiem. Hello, hi.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me.
It's my great pleasure. Hi, I saw you at TaiCon just a few weeks ago. You greatly impressed me. You were on a panel there, and I've watched some of the videos. But maybe we can kick things off, by getting you to provide a little bit of a personal introduction.
For sure. My name's Hai, so spelled H-A-I, 3 letters. I used to be a software engineer, and now I'm a founder and one of the organizers at AI Tinkerers. So AI Tinkerers is a group of about 800 people. We meet once a month. About 150 people show up, usually at Invest Ottawa. And think of it as like the old homebrew computer club back in Silicon Valley back in the 90s when the internet just came out. So we're just like a bunch of tinkerers building with large language models, AI, RAG, whatever, you name it. And on the side, not on the side, but like I guess my main gig is I built this company called Cats with Bats. So we're a platform for AI engineers to go and find practical use cases, tutorials, and for companies that are building in the native AI, Gen AI space to make tutorials to improve their top of funnel.
Super cool. So I'm just going to make sure everyone's clear listening. So AI Tinkerers is your volunteer job. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone on the team is volunteer. We were, people who work at Solace as AI engineers and people like founders like myself and product people, mostly founders. So yeah, all volunteers.
Cool. And we're going to devote most of today's show, as I indicated, to AI Tinkerers, but I want to give you a little bit of an opportunity here, Hai, to talk about your company, Cats with Bats. I understand it's in stealth mode, so there's probably some stuff you don't want to say, but just give us the brief elevator pitch.
Absolutely. So it's funny because I kind of prepare for this, but I'm on the show, I get a little bit nervous, so like all that preparation is out the window. So I'll just say whatever's on my mind. So are we talking about Cats with Bats right now?
Yeah, let's talk about Cats with Bats just for a second.
For sure. So Cats with Bats was built out of my own frustration with like creating tutorials and for coders and software engineers, and put them on traditional platforms where it's like it's an hour long, you got to pause and then you copy the code. So Cats with Bats, you can ask an AI tutor, they'll give you an answer about the code, and it will take you to the part in the video that answers the question for you. And that just not goes for one video, it goes for like the entire collection from people who make content. And this one thing that people really love, which is called X-ray, which is where you click on one button and you get all the content from the screen from the video tutorial, copy on the side, and just hit copy. You don't have to like type it out by hand. So yeah, that's Cats with Bats. Launched Halloween night, so like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Have a bunch of 250 users now. We got a wait list, and people. There's some like really interesting learnings that I can dive into if you want, but it's really surprising, details that I've seen since then.
Okay, just to stay focused on you for a couple minutes, Hi. So in the prep for this interview, you were telling me you went to film school. So give me a little bit about that journey. You went to film school, you did a pivot to technology. Like, how did that work out?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was in high school, me and my sister and like my mom were just kind of prepped and helped myself like apply to like maybe like a dozen different colleges and university in the US. And at the end, I wanted to go to a school that Steve Carell and Jennifer Garner went to, because I was really into filmmaking at the time, and I still am. So I went to school and studied film, and then halfway through, my parents were like, "Hey, like, what are you gonna do with a film degree?" And I was like, "Okay, let's do economics." So film economics, double major, and that ended up, afterwards working in software instead. So like, became a software engineer, and then now a founder. Never worked a day in the film industry. So
and look where you are today. Hi, you're doing great. And tell me a little bit about your interest in artificial intelligence. So I get that film school, and then a programmer, and now AI. What was it that hooked you about AI?
Absolutely. So around like late 2022, I was like most people, playing around or have heard about like ChatGPT. So I was playing around with it, and I think the moment that I sent the query in, I was like, oh my God, this blew my mind, because I can literally just say anything. And I don't know what the boundaries of this tool would be. So when I was at my job, I was basically like spent all night building open source projects. I was contributing to this open source framework called LangChain for a little bit. And and I built like 6 different projects. Some of them got really popular. So for example, like using large language models to do web scraping, that got a little bit popular. But I was basically like, really tired in the morning doing work, and then at night, and then like at night I was building like different projects. So I think at one point I was just like, let me just go all in on this. And so I started to build stuff, and I was actually working out of Invest Ottawa. So Invest Ottawa has always been part of AI Tinkerers and my career since last year. I was there because they had like, I think like free coffee or free food or something like that. And I was just like hanging out in the cafeteria, coding away. And then one thing led to another. I was doing some sort of workshops there about like, building with large language models. And then some people came, and I talked to this guy named Greg Meldrum, who was a principal software AI engineer at Solus. And we just told ourselves like, hey, like maybe there are more people like ourselves, because right now we're talking like mid 2023. Like AI was kind of like cool, but like people didn't really, it wasn't in the mainstream in terms of like outside of ChatGPT. So we were just talking to ourselves. We were like, we don't want to travel to like Toronto or SF to like talk to people like ourselves. We kind of want to find people in Ottawa. And turns out that was the core thesis for like starting AI Tinkerers, which was, we believe that, there are people like ourselves who are building cool stuff, but they're just like in their own pockets. So we wanted to start a group and then bring people in, and then, it grew into like AI Tinkerers today.
That's awesome. And Ottawa is so much better for it. Hi. Listen, Hi, I want to devote the second half of today's interview to AI Tinkerers. But before we do that, I just want to pause our discussion here for a second to recognize our sponsor of the show, which is pretty relevant to this discussion, U Ottawa Faculty of Engineering. Welcome to the University of Ottawa's Faculty of Engineering, where world-class researchers and state-of-the-art facilities drive innovation and skills development. Explore the U Ottawa IBM Cyber Range, an unparalleled immersive facility in downtown Ottawa. Developed with IBM, it offers hands-on cybersecurity training and serves as a testing ground for cutting-edge technologies. Perfect for organizations seeking to elevate their cybersecurity expertise, the Cyber Range offers customizable training tailored to your needs. At the University of Ottawa Canada North Campus, the Smart Connected Vehicle Innovation Centre is at the forefront of autonomous and connected vehicle technology. Through strategic partnerships, we can co-innovate with industry leaders in Canada's largest tech park. Learn more about our facilities and how we drive your organization forward by visiting our website today. And I bet those folks at U Ottawa Engineering are talking about AI too. But anyway, we're back talking with Nghiem from Cats with Bats and AI Tinkerers. And I'm really keen to dig into this grassroots movement that you started. So we got a little bit of the backstory. Fill us in about AI Tinkerers in terms of its size, number of members, how often you meet. Give us the basic facts here.
For sure. A little bit of a backstory. So it started with myself, Greg, and Abra, just 3 people. And it started about a room of 15 people in a training room at Invest Ottawa. And then now it grew to over 800 members in total. We have a really lively Discord, and we meet once a month. And the average number of attendees is about 130, 150. So we're sponsored by names like Google, LangChain, Hugging Face. If you're in the space, you know what those names are. V8, Zillas. It's surprisingly enough, we don't have a lot of representations from Shopify, which is the company that we're trying to reach out to. So if you're Shopify, please we love to work with you. Reach out. But yeah, so those are some of the footage for that I myself shot at the events, because film major.
Hey, it's like you're in film school, man.
Yeah, couldn't help myself. But yeah, so actually so we have demos of people building really cool stuff. So for example, there's a guy named Marco Tondo who built this thing called Magic Mirror that he brought to his own wedding. And then people who stood in front of his computer would have their entire appearance altered into anime and stuff like that in real time using this thing called Stable Diffusion, which is a kind of image model. So things like that. And I think this month we brought to Ottawa a team from Cerebra Systems. So Cerebra System has the world's fastest inference infrastructure, Grok, and a few other really key players in the Gen AI space, that both in Ottawa and outside of Ottawa. So that's the kind of vibe that AI Tinkerers is. We also try our best to make sure that the conversations in the group are always high quality by making sure that we look at every single person's profile before we let them in. So yeah, okay. That's the gist of it.
And listen, I think I heard you say you started with 15 people. Just to be clear, there are now, from what I understand, more than 800 members of AI Tinkerers Ottawa.
Yeah, in Ottawa alone.
Wow. And when I was watching the video, I think I heard a clip from somewhere, I can't remember. They were from somewhere overseas, saying what's happening in Ottawa is pretty special. Is that fair to say? Is it garnering some attention from outside the city? What's happening with our AI Tinkerers?
Absolutely, yeah. So that was Killian Lucas, who's the founder of this project called Open Interpreter, which allows your computer to run Python code and other kinds of code to eventually control your computer. So Killian said that when looking at the stats between Berlin, Boston, and a few other kind of cities, Ottawa just came out on top, and they were calling us the weird phenomenon and anomaly in the data. Also, Harrison Chase, the core maintainers and founder and CEO of LangChain, also said the same thing. We were compared to hubs like Boston, Chicago, we're pretty strong.
Okay.
Even though in Ottawa there's no frontier AI labs Cohere in Toronto, so surprisingly we're doing pretty well. Like I said, our core thesis in the beginning was correct, which is there are interesting people doing interesting things in Ottawa. We just have to grab them all and bring them to the same room.
Okay. And listen, I want to dig into this a little bit, Hai. So I've always thought that the size of Ottawa and the size of its technology community is pretty cool because everyone can stay really connected. It's not massive. It's not small. It's somewhere in the middle. But help me explain why other people in other cities are saying there is something special happening with Ottawa in terms of AI Tinkerers. Like, why is that? Why are 800 people suddenly coming together?
Yeah, because like first of all, the expectations for a city like Ottawa is quite low, and we beat pretty much everyone's expectations over the year. We have an online community that is actually a community. So there are a lot of like efforts in the city, in Ottawa, for example, and other cities as well, to build communities. But what happened instead is that people actually built an audience. So like when you stop making content, for example, for OBJ, for example, you stop making content, it's done, right? But for a community, once the organizers stop putting in work or stop making content, the community itself kind of generate stuff and like value. So what we found recently, just recently, is that we take the foot off the gas pedal, and the community itself kind of like start sharing resources, creating new discussions around like different tools that they start using recently. And that's when we knew that we actually built a community that is sustainable. And have not seen like an online community that we at our level from other cities. So that's one thing that people actually keep talking about. And we were able to help actually Toronto and Montreal start their own stuff by giving them like resources to start their own.
I like that. I like what you're saying there. So you took your foot off the gas pedal, and then the community picked up the efforts, and that was a little bit of a data point that, hey, we've got something here. This just isn't a bunch of people consuming your content. It's people that want to actively participate. Is that it?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. So people like go on, do their own demos, and reach out to us. So like we've been able to like put together almost like an engine for like a flywheel for that as of now.
And as you said, hi. So I'm very up on Ottawa's tech sector, but Ottawa isn't necessarily known as an AI center. Where would you, for people that are observers of the local tech sector, where would you position Ottawa in terms of the AI, our ability for local companies and local developers to embrace this new technology? How are we doing?
Absolutely. So just to preface, at AI Tinkers, we actually ban thought leadership, and I'm gonna try my best to like answer this question in a very practical way. So I can name off the top of my head companies like Solus is doing some amazing work with like agentic frameworks. That I think they have some big news coming out next year. I'm really excited to see it. And companies like Vectorize, which is a company that's started by some executives that used to be at DataStax. They have their engineering team in Ottawa, and they show up to every single event at AI Tinkers. So Vectorize does like retrieval, which is like you search your knowledge base, and then you pipe things into your large language models to give like good answers. That's their bread and butter. So like there are many companies and founders in Ottawa that are doing some cool Gen AI stuff that are like actual businesses. We don't have like a really really like popular research lab in Ottawa, not like Paris where they have like Mistral or but however we have this community, and we have actual startups doing some cool stuff. Honestly, I don't know what the future is going to hold, if this is still the case. I know Jen Schelling, who's a professor in the cognitive science department at Carleton U, is also one of our organizers, and she's doing some awesome work with like agentic frameworks and like sandbox simulations as well. So like those are the things that are if you have to be boots on the ground and like know about it, because these things don't get talked about in like mainstream media as much in our city, at least.
That's a very honest answer. So thanks for that. Hi. We'll start wrapping up here in just a minute, but I want to ask you, if you had a magic wand, I know that's kind of crazy to talk about, and could wave the magic wand and have something, bring something to reality that would accelerate the development of AI and the adoption, what would you do? Hi. How would you wave that wand and fix something?
Yeah, I think since AI Tinker started, we brought back the spirit of tinkering to Ottawa. So it's no longer just people are talking about systems that they never built, or talking about like AI strategy. It's about like, okay, what have you built over the weekend, and come and share it with everybody. And I want to invite you, Michael, to one of our meetups as well, because like when you're in the room, you can feel the energy. You can feel that people are like so excited to share these like very experimental and like almost like fringe experiments with AI. And these are the things that you see today, which will be in production or like being used in a customer facing application in like 2 or 3 years from now. So I think the spirit of tinkering is what we need more than like, talk about your AI strategy. Honestly, I can't even do that if you ask me to. And the second thing is, if you're a tech company in Ottawa, if you're doing serious work with AI, we would love to partner with you and, some sort of sponsorship, hackathon. So like that's what I'm always looking for.
Okay. And I get your point, Hi, right? Like we could either talk about AI strategy and adoption and measure things, or we could do, excuse my language, we could do shit, right? Like we could get things done. We could tinker, right? So I think you guys are all about the doing and not the talking.
You sound like a tinkerer to me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I'm doing here is talking. So I guess anyway, you get the point. Listen, we're as I said, we're going to start wrapping up, but help us look into 2025 a little bit in terms of AI Tinkerers. Is there anything you're planning? Is there anything coming up in terms of an event, a theme? What's going to happen in 2025? Hi.
For sure. Quick story. So our organizers, we were just out in at Kettleman's, like the bagel shop, talking about exactly this topic. And there's going to be some big changes in 2025. So in like 2024, we learned some hard lessons about like mixing people who have no idea what's going on in AI with people who are doing some like top level stuff. And it didn't work for both parties. So what we did recently was we actually filter pretty hard and only allow people who are like kind of like doing some serious work with AI or like tinkering with stuff to come into our event recently. But in 2025, we're going to have something that will work for like, the AI strategy people, like the product managers, like the people in marketing, sales, go-to-market, and CEOs and founders to come in and talk about like not just building with AI using like very technical and code heavy tools, but also like no code, low code, and talk about like AI adoption as well. So we're really excited for the Q1 in 2025 to kickstart that new separate program from like the core Tinker stuff.
That's interesting that you're learning how to put people together and how to generate some productive outputs. That's pretty cool. Listen, Hi, before we wrap up, it's time for our Building a Better Working World segment brought to you by EY.
So we're actually not trying to build a better world through AI Tinkers. We think building a better world is a lacking indicator or a result of doing something else. So we only focus on two things, which is bring the right people into the room and bringing the right demos and the cool demos so that, we can uplift the entire experience level for the entire community. So we'll focus on two things, so we don't actually look at like the lofty goals, like building a better world, because that's too debilitating to wake up and tackle that kind of problem. So yeah.
I get the point. It's too big. Let's focus here in Ottawa. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing here too. We're trying to make small progress. Listen, Hi, I want to really thank you for what you're doing in our city. It's pretty cool to see a young person like yourself who's so enthusiastic and up with technology to have this type of impact. So thank you for contributing to the community, Hi, and thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Khaled, on the back end doing all the video stuff. And sorry about the Amazon packages in the back.
Oh, that's cool. It's almost Christmas, man. I presume you're shopping Black Friday deals everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Hi. All right. That was Nghiem joining us. Many thanks to him. Before we wrap up, let's take a look at some of the other great companies that champion this Techopia podcast. Techopia is brought to you by many great sponsors, such as EY, building a better working world. Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services for SaaS companies. Perley Robertson Hill and McDougall, a leader in business and technology sector law. TD Bank, specialized programs for technology companies. The University of Ottawa Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. Techopia is not only a podcast. We post new articles daily at obj.ca/Techopia. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe and click the bell icon. Hey, big thanks to Hi. And man, we're going to keep on looking at AI Tinkerers. And I'm going to take them up on that offer to visit Bayview Yards for one of their great events. It's very exciting stuff happening here. Listen, we're going to wrap up, but a couple reminders on the OBJ's front. First of all, we are doing daily reporting on most days on the local tech sector. You can go to obj.ca/Techopia. Also, make sure to sign up for our weekly email newsletter. That email goes out every Monday. And just a reminder, we released just a few months ago an annual magazine on the local tech sector. We partner with EY on that. And you can visit Techopia, EYinsights.ca to check out that magazine. That's all the time we have for today. We hope Techopia is helping you stay connected and informed. Let's keep building Ottawa's technology utopia. That's Techopia. See you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.